In this video, we're going to look at classifying triangles. Okay, there's two ways to classify triangles. I can either classify it by the number of the types of sides or by the angles. Let's start with sides. Now, when I talk about sides, there are three types of triangles. I have equilateral. An equilateral means all three sides are equal or the same. Okay? Then I have isosceles. And isosceles is two the same. Two sides are the same. And then my final one is scalene. None are the same. So here, these tick marks are on the sides. So we're comparing the sides. And they all have one tick mark, which means they're all equal length in size. Because they all have equal sides, that's going to make that equilateral. So this here, because all three sides are the same, makes it an equilateral triangle. These marks are on the angles, so we're going to skip that. This mark's on the angle, so we're going to skip that till we talk to those types in a second. Now here we go. We have two hash marks, two hash marks. Since they both have the same number of hash marks, these two sides are the same. Two sides the same. Let's look at our definitions. Three sides the same, two sides the same, none the same. I have two the same, so it must be isosceles. This is an isosceles triangle. Okay? Now let's look. These ones don't have any markings, but let me pick one of them. I'm going to pick this one here. And I'm going to tell you that this is one measure, this is a different measure, and this is even a different measure. The hash marks aren't the same. So therefore, none of the three sides are the same. So none the same. That would make that one a scalene triangle. Okay? Now when we talk about angles, there are four types of triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen for a second so we're not overwhelmed. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, let me just erase my definitions for a second. Okay, so we had equilateral, scalene, and isosceles. Now we're going to have equiangular. And equiangular is similar to equilateral. It means all angles equal. All three angles, that's the symbol for angles, are equal. They're the same. Then we have a right triangle. And a right triangle means one 90-degree angle. One of my angles is 90 degrees. I have acute. And acute means all angles below 90 degrees. And finally, I have an obtuse triangle, which means one angle bigger, greater than 90 degrees. So let's look at my pictures. Remember before I said this marking is on the angle. They each have the same marking. That means those three angles are the same. So that's going to be an equiangular triangle. Now hopefully you've seen this before. This square in the corner means that it's a right angle. Because I have one angle that's 90 degrees, it's going to be a right triangle. When we look over here, I'm going to put in a measurement here. This is 110 degrees. This one here is 40 degrees, and this one here is 30 degrees. So when I look at that, are all the angles below 90? No. Are all the angles the same? No. Do I have a 90-degree angle? No. Do I have one angle bigger than 90? Yes. I have one angle that's bigger than 90. And generally you can pick out the obtuse triangle because it has this big obtuse angle. It looks all kind of stretched out, almost to a flat line. Almost the triangle is going to collapse. So this would be an obtuse triangle. And then let's look at this triangle that doesn't have any markings. I'm going to give it some angle measures. I'm going to say that this is 60 degrees, this is 80 degrees, and this one is 40 degrees. 60, 80, and 40. And you'll know how I came up with those numbers. I had to do a little math to make sure it adds up right. That's your next lesson. 60, 80, 40. Okay, they're not all the same. None of them are worth 90. Are they all below 80? Well, below 90. 60's below 90, 80's below 90, and 40's below 90. They're all below 90, therefore it's an acute triangle. Before I leave you, let's do a couple practice ones. Okay, 60, 60, 60. All the angles are the same, so this one is going to be equal angular. And by the way, if it's equal angular, it's also equilateral. Okay, this has an angle measure of 130 degrees. What type of triangle has a big angle, an angle bigger than 90? I hope you said obtuse. And this one, this symbol's the symbol for 90 degrees. It points out that this is a right triangle. I hope this helps, and good luck identifying the triangles on your page.